Good afternoon. I'm afraid I'm shooting the first parts of this video again after I've done everything that I was going to do to these today, because the clip-on microphone that I use seemed to have stopped. So I've got the video with a load of humming and no audio. So I'll try and pretend that I haven't done what I've done already. So these are a pair of TDL studio monitors, and they've been sent to me by a lovely guy who got my details from Falcon Acoustics. So thanks, Jerry, for passing on my details. You may recall earlier in the year I had a pair of TDL reference standard speakers. Here's a picture. And I've actually got another pair of those to work on. So the guy that has sent those to me obviously watched my videos, and I'm going to do another pair, and he wants me to video it as well because we're going to do some upgrade into those, which will be good. So yeah, like I say, another pair of TDL studio monitors. These are kind of half a reference standard, if you like. The reference standard has two of these elliptical woofers made by TDL, or ELAC. I think they outsource that. Anyway, the reference standard has two mid-bass drivers, two tweeters and one super tweeter. So these are kind of half that. That's why I'm calling them that. Again, a transmission line for the elliptical woofer. And these came here because apparently the woofer and mid-bass driver in this one just stopped working all of a sudden. So that kind of, for both drivers to go out together, kind of pointed to a connection problem or crossover problem. Chances of both drivers failing in one go at the same time, yeah, not really possible, although it can happen, I'm sure. Right, so I've taken measurements of this one. This is the good one, and it's working as it should, apart from, again, like I mentioned in the reference standard video, these woofers, the rubber suspension is really poor. It goes hard, it cracks, and yeah, it's just generally the failure point of these. When I did the reference standard videos, I had one guy emailing me about this driver compared to the B139, blah blah blah, and I ended up using the B139 and did a little crossover tweak to integrate it, and it worked fantastically. And I'm going to have to do the same with this, because there's no replacement rubbers or parts for these. You can't use the B139 rubber because it's too soft and the cone just wobbles around on it. So there really is no alternative but to fit the B139. You can still get good second-hand B139s, but the good thing is Falcon Acoustics make them new. So that kind of keeps these alive, really, in my eyes. So again, like the reference standard, the super tweeter is the on-axis listening position as far as the vertical seating position goes. Horizontally, they're really good off-axis. So I've taken measurements on super tweeter, tweeter and mid-bass driver just to find where the reference is. So I'll put those measurements in now. So as you can see, super tweeter axis is really where we need to be, and you'll see the bass end is folded down because this rubber's gone hard, and because of that the cone can't move very well. Bass output is attenuated, and that's no good. So if we look at this one, I've taken the woofer out. This one has failed, so the woofer's failed. And actually the mid-bass, tweeter and super tweeter are working fine. They are really well matched with this one. Here's a comparison of the two. But as you can see from this one alone, no bass output. This is rolling off at about 400 Hertz and nothing there. So yeah, I've taken this one apart. So I'll put this strip down in next, and you'll see the issues we had with this. and then we'll get the B139s in and see how we can get those to work. But yeah, big speakers. Right, so again, shooting this bit again. Here's one of TDL's woofers that I've already got. I have a number of these from other TDL speakers, and as you can probably see, if I can push the cone up a bit, the rubber is really hard and very cracking, very cracked. Maybe you can see it a bit more from the back. And that's what happens with these. The rubber just goes hard, and that heavily attenuates the driver, and yeah, they're not much good. Like I say, unfortunately you can't buy replacement rubbers. I'm not going to get rubbers remade for these, so that kind of kills them, which is a shame. Apparently they were quite a good driver, but I am quite a fan of the B139. So chassis wise, this is an exact fit. The holes, stud pattern's the same, fits straight in. I don't fully know the history and it's not really my thing, but TDL, some of the guys left IMF I think and started TDL. IMF used these KEF drivers, so I guess the TDL design, which I think ELAC and maybe another company built for them, were kind of modelled on that, which is one of the reasons why this is almost a direct replacement. In the reference standard there are some crossover mods I do, but yeah, otherwise it goes straight in. Right, let's have a look inside. Right, hopefully you can see that okay. So let's take this woofer out. So we've got a load of moisture that's run down here at some point. Yeah, a bit strange. Right, let's take the woofer out and see what's going on. Yeah, so like I was saying, this is one of those speakers, unfortunately, that I'm sure I'm going to get emails and things about. The last guy with the reference standards, God, he sent me pages and pages of emails about so-and-so that did this and it was done because of that, and you should do this, you should do that, oh so-and-so knows these, and yeah. So there's certain speakers that I'm a bit reluctant to video, so we'll wait and see. Our mid has got a bit of crack in there as well, but actually that's okay. My concern was that these had failed. So in the reference standard, these are, I think, a 16 ohm or a 15 ohm unit parallel together, because there's in effect this twice, one super tweeter. So whether they're the same or not, I don't know. That's really corroded. Can you see that? These have gone really hard. Yeah, there it is. Our tinsel wire is just corroded away. So I would say the rubber suspension on this is exactly how they should be. This is really supple, really nice. But the other one and the others I've had have all gone really bad. So we'll have a close-up look at this, but moisture. Have these been kept somewhere damp? Because there's a lot of signs of moisture there. All right, let's clip this off. Right, we'll have a close-up look of that shortly. 8 ohm, so the reference standard uses an 8 ohm and a 16 ohm version. Lots of nice egg crate foam in here. Unfortunately, some of it's coming away. Bituminous pads on the side. And our crossover, very much like the reference standard. Same sort of components by the look of it. Is in there. So I'll try and take a look at that, but really and truly I'm quite happy with the way that is performing. So you have a brace going down and across. A separate chamber at the top for our mid-bass driver. That's draft excluder. Brown window draft excluder. There's so much moisture in here. Okay. Right, I've vacuumed out the inside because it was full of chips of wood. In fact, there's still a few bits here and there. Given the condition of the woofer I've taken out, which I'll give you a close-up look at soon, I would say these haven't been in use. They've been stored. But apparently they are or were in daily use. Someone's taken this out before and the draft excluder has been put round there to seal it. It's not in the other one. So I kind of suspect these haven't been working. Someone had a look and they've been laid up. I don't know. We will see. So what I want to do, I'm just going to plonk the B139 in there. And let's throw some measurements at it and see what we get. So I know the modifications I need to do to the reference standard to integrate these. And like I say, we can buy these new from Falcon Acoustics, which is fantastic because we can keep these beauties going. Our crossover's look in really good condition, really nice. See what I mean? Stud pattern's the same, just goes straight in. Right, let's have a close-up look at this woofer. So you can see all the corrosion around it. All the paint is just flaking off. And you can see our tinsel wires going into our voice coil, how green they are. And they're brittle as anything, and we've actually broken off down there. And there's quite a bit of crunchiness in there, so I suspect we've got quite a bit of corrosion inside. And yeah, it's just moisture damaged. Yeah, shame. I mean, it just looks like it's wicked up a load of moisture at some point. So we compare that one to this one. So like I say, this is the how you'd expect the rubber suspension to be, all nice and supple. And then you've got this one. I mean, that's quite difficult to move. Just really stiff. Yeah. You see, look, the moisture that's come out of this, all the staining. Odd. It's really good with that. I think it's rolling off a little bit early, so I might have a look at addressing that. But yeah, out the box there's no peaks or dips, so it's pretty good. Miles better than it was. Right, so I've been playing around with the B139 in there for a little bit, and the results are really good. Really, really good. So I'm going to put up a measurement now that shows the original speaker A with its blown woofer, or damaged woofer I'm going to say, and you'll see how that bass end is just completely rolled off because there's no output from the woofer. Also on that measurement is speaker B, which has the woofer with the stiff rubber, and you'll see how folded down the response is from that. And then the black line is going to be speaker A, which had the blown woofer, damaged woofer, sorry, with the B139. And it's integrated really, really, really well. If I just run test tones right the way down to 30 Hertz, down to 25 Hertz, the bass is thunderous, fantastic. I'm pushing my luck measuring as low as I'm showing, so that kind of dip that's right down the bottom isn't really there. So yeah, that's what we need to do. Right, I'm going to leave this here, have a chat with my client about what he wants to do. and I'm sure there'll be another part. Catch you soon.